They could have gone out and gotten any quarterback in the country with their NIL, and they chose me. Just excited to be where I wanted to be from the get-go. Norvell believed in me to be his quarterback and to be back with Gus. This could be it right there. All they need is one season and 1 year. I feel like I have the skill set to be one of the best. Now I just have to turn this thing around for these guys, for this community, this fan base, the staff. I'm not just playing for Florida State. I'm playing for coaches who are fathers and who have homes and families. I'm trying to save jobs and win. Now, okay, if I'm Mike, I'm telling him that's not what you're doing. You go be the best version of you. Stop worrying about the fathers and husbands and families that you say you're also playing for. Nope. That's outside of what you can control, and I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, by the way, Thomas, any of these guys that get fired that are up against it because they were part of a 2-10 season or part of a rebuild, they're all multimillionaires. They're going to be okay. I wouldn't so much worry about trying to save people's jobs as I would trying to turn this thing around for you and your teammates to be the best possible team that you can be. Stop worrying about people's jobs. But he's excited about the players he gets to do it with. And for that, I agree with him. Having a Deuce Robinson, having a Randy Pittman, having a Squirrel White is exciting. To that end, Castellanos said, I didn't have nearly as much talent as I do here, talking about his time at Boston College. I didn't have the guys. But over here, I have some of the best athletic guys. I'm not the fastest one on the team over here. I'm not the most athletic guy on the team here. Just being around these guys, just instilling in their heads the winning mentality and what we can do. They got the team, they got the guys. All they needed was a leader in place to lead them. We need to get back to that mentality of ACC championships, to be a good playoff run, to a national championship. But for me, I know I have the skill set to be a Heisman contender, to be up in New York. Okay. Believes that they can put the nation on notice when they face Alabama here in Tallahassee, August 30th. I'm excited. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I've played in, we always start fast. I've dreamt of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. I just don't see them stopping me. And then the ACC, I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State's going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. People can't just sit back in zone coverage and watch me. I hope you're right, young man. I hope you are right. And in theory, that should be true with what you've brought in. We'll see. I think I would have probably advised against saying they don't have Nick Saban to come in and save them anymore, and I don't see how they can stop me. Would have stopped short of that one. Don't suppose that I'm in any way upset about a quarterback brimming with confidence. I am like the rest of the fan base that might look at this and kind of go, okay, that's just a young man. That's just a prideful, confident young man. I'm more of a, not jaded, but more of a, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, this game, as we talked about earlier today in our usual Monday conversation, it's not really a coin flip, this game. It's a casting of a die. There could be so many things that happen when we play Alabama. Some really, really bad, some outrageously good and maybe program changing. I like about 25% of the quotes that I read in this article. From
just 25%?
You could probably do without the other 75%.
Yeah.
Because the problem I have with this is if you look back at the Boston College situation, it shows me that it definitely took two to tango, the problem that he had with Bill O'Brien. Now, Bill's reputation is awful in terms of dealing with players. That preceded him to Boston College, so it wasn't a surprise.
And he's a difficult man to deal with in any of his stuff.
The stuff with DeAndre Hopkins, for example,
right.
Oh my, cringe.
Right.
So when he leaves the program, I could understand why under Bill O'Brien you might do that. Also, you're not the style of quarterback that Bill wants.
Correct.
And he's asking you to do things that aren't even your strength. So like I can understand from all those circumstances why Tommy was choosing to dismiss himself in a way from the program. But then I read this, I'm like, oh God. Okay. So definitely we had two people at fault here. and we've got a quarterback that if times are good, we're fine. But I'm not really sure that if this thing spirals and it doesn't get off to a great start, that we've got somebody who's going to be front and center. Maybe he would be, but it calls that into question for me.
Well, what he has done is certainly put the target on himself, but you might say to yourself at that point, that's okay. A starting quarterback is supposed to be brimming with confidence. A starting quarterback is supposed to be the leader of a football team. The starting quarterback should want all the smoke, as they say, and he's going to get it. He's going to get it with these quotes, and that's fine. It's all relative. I think once a game starts, most of this goes out the window. It will be talked about a lot today, and in the weeks leading up to the game, maybe it'll resurface. Certainly, but early July, it's not going to be brought up much. But yes, there's no shortage of bravado for this young man. He'll be made to eat crow if they dominate him, shut him down, and control the game. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, he has a great game, and Florida State pulls an upset, and it would be a significant upset as a 12.5-point underdog to beat Alabama. And then you have this charismatic leader who always believed, and all of a sudden the narrative shifts. We know how this works.
Yeah, yes, you're 100% right. That is something that could happen.
Oh, I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying that's
the number one. Yeah, I know. Usually I'm the optimistic one. Just I think the quote that I have the hardest time with is that I took on the ACC by my damn self.
Right.
So what would your teammates in Boston College say about you after reading that? That's not a leader.
No,
that's not a leader.
It's not ideal. No.
There are plenty of dudes on that team that were okay. They had a couple of really good offensive linemen.
Robichaux was a good running back. In the NFL. They had a great rush in. They had,
early in his time, the one receiver who was pretty decent. Like, by yourself? So you did this by yourself. So now you're telling me that your perception of what happened when you rushed for 1,100 yards at Boston College was you against the world. Man, there's leadership, and then there's me against the world. And I've seen a little bit more of me against the world in this particular article.
Well, I think you have to, this is where I talked about, like, what are we doing over there at Sports Information? You know what you have on your hands. You have a kid who's charismatic and filled with bravado and has no shortage of, look at me. And in the moment, you got to realize, okay, so let's have the conversation about what we do and do not say and why, and the way that this is going to be perceived. You may not mean it that way. You may just be talking off the cuff and having fun, but words in print tend to read differently than they do when you're just sitting there having an off-the-cuff conversation with a reporter.
For sure. I don't think there's any context that justifies I took on the ACC by myself.
No,
there's no
not.
Well, what did you mean? Like, that's not what I meant. Oh, there's nothing you could mean other than I had a bunch of bums that were with me.
Sure.
And I was the one out of 11 that was worth a damn. And I lifted us by myself to a place of respectability.
Yeah. And quarterback wins.
Yeesh.
Quarterback wins are not a stat, but it's always good to be mindful that you were 11 and 10 in 21 games. Chappelle. Warchant.com. Hello, Ira. And so what to make of the bravado of one Tommy Castellanos and his comments to Mr. Nakos?
Man, I'm fine with it, honestly. But I was fine with it when Geno Hayes talked big about Tim Tebow. So maybe I'm not the best person to judge. I've never had a problem with – I don't know why we live in this world where people think that teams are not motivated unless somebody says something silly. Alabama was coming to Doak Campbell Stadium in their season opener. I think they were going to be plenty motivated whether or not Tommy did this interview or not.
I agree with that. The only part that we even took issue with was with he kind of rolled his old teammates at BC, which is less than ideal, at least in terms of a form of leadership.
No, I hear you. But I think if Bill O'Brien hadn't taken kind of a shot at him when he was leaving the team, I think maybe the things wouldn't have been so salty on his part now. But again, at the end of the day, it's reality. It's nothing. He didn't say anything. You go back through what he said, none of it's wrong. He was on a team of pretty average football players. Now he's got some better football players. Whether or not they're good enough to beat Alabama, we'll see. But Tommy Castellanos did put up a lot of yards and a lot of numbers over those 2 seasons when he was in the game and didn't have a ton of other talent to work with. So, again, I get it. I understand why people are going to wring their hands a little bit, but I personally don't, have much of a problem with it.
I wondered if Mike thought it was fun to read that he's trying to save his job.
that was probably the funniest thing to me. It's like, Yeah, listen, dude, I think those guys are going to be okay. I mean, we certainly know Mike Norvell's going to be okay, but all the other assistant coaches, they're going to be okay. If they have to sell their $1 million houses, it's going to work out.
I said the same thing. I was like, no, Tommy, don't worry about these guys and their jobs, man. I don't need you to worry about their jobs. They're going to be fine. They put themselves in this predicament currently. You just go, you do you, and play well.
I appreciate the sentiment, though. Listen, and again, I do wonder if there's a little bit of him that looks around the room and says, you know what, we don't have a ton of alphas here. We don't have a ton of guys that probably walk into a room with their chest out right now after a 2-10 football season. Maybe he is trying to breathe some life into it. That's why when I made the comment about Geno Hayes, that was what Geno Hayes was trying to do that day back in 2008, whatever it was, because he just knew that everybody thought Florida State was going to get stomped. So he tried to get his guys some confidence, and it didn't work out. But it's not like Tim Tebow wasn't going to run him over anyway.
Right. That's for sure.